Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Naila Haira. So today I will present my critical listening analysis of an argumentative talk entitled Should We Let Students Use ChatGPT by Natasha Berg, presented at TED Talk. I choose this topic because artificial intelligence has become an important part of education. Today, many students use AI to help them study, while many teachers are still worried about its impact. I think this topic is very interesting because it's closely related to students' daily lives and the future of education. But before we discussing the argument, let me explain the context of this talk. Natasha Berg is an educator who shares her opinion about the growing use of ChatGPT in education. Her audience includes teachers, students, parents, and anyone who is interested in the future of learning. The purpose of this talk is to encourage people not to fear immediately to AI. Instead, she wants schools to prepare students by teaching them how to use AI responsibly and wisely. Overall, Natasha clearly believes that AI should become part of education, but it should be used wisely with proper guidance from teachers. Now, I would like to summarize the speaker's argument. The main issue in this talk is whether students should be allowed to use ChatGPT in school. The speaker's main claim is that schools should teach students how to use ChatGPT responsibly instead of banning it. Natasha begins her talk by telling a real story about an English teacher who caught a student using ChatGPT to write an essay. At first, the teachers didn't believe that AI could produce a good essay. However, after trying themselves, they were surprised because ChatGPT created a well-written essay only in a few seconds. Then Natasha explains that AI is no longer something new. It's already used in many fields such as healthcare, business, and education. She also mentioned that popular platforms like Duolingo and Quizlet have started integrating AI into their systems. This shows that AI is becoming a normal part of everyday life. Next, she explains that why many teachers are worried. According to Natasha, after the pandemic, many educators noticed that students' critical thinking and problem-solving skills had declined. Because AI can quickly answer questions and write essays. Teachers are afraid because students will become too dependent on AI. However, Natasha argues that banning ChatGPT is not the best solution. She believes students can still access AI outside school, so schools should focus on teaching students how to use it safely and responsibly instead of trying to block it. Finally, she concludes that AI will continue to develop and become a part of our future. Therefore, schools need to adapt this technology and prepare students for the future rather than ignore it. Now let me explain the argument map. This issue is whether students should use ChatGPT in education. The main claim is that schools should teach responsible AI use instead of banning it. The speaker gives three main supporting reasons. First, AI is already becoming part of everyday life and many industries already use it. Second, banning ChatGPT will not stop students from using it because they can still access it outside school. Third, AI can support learning if teachers design classroom activities and teach students how to use the technology properly. The counter-argument is that ChatGPT may encourage teaching and reduce students' critical thinking skills. And the rebuttal is that teacher-responsible AI use is a better solution than completely banning the technology. In my opinion, Natasha Berg presents a clear and well-organized argument. One strength of her argument is that she begins a real-life example, making the audience interested from the beginning. Another strength is that she provides an example of how AI is already being used in the different fields and explain why school cannot avoid this technology forever. I also think that her rebuttal is so strong because she explains that banning ChatGPT is not effective because students can still use AI outside of school. So teaching responsible use is more realistic solution. However, I think the argument also has a weaknesses. Natasha mostly focuses on the benefits of AI, but she doesn't discuss many real examples of students who misuse ChatGPT or long-term negative effects of depending too much on AI. Because of this, I think the speaker shows a slight positive bias toward AI. She believes that AI can bring many benefits, but she spends less time to discuss the risk. I also didn't find any major logical fallacies in this talk, because her ideas are logical and easy to follow. Although her argument would be even stronger if she included more research findings or statistical evidence. Overall, I think her argument is convincing because it offers a practical solution instead of simply rejecting a new technology. Personally, I partly agree with Natasha Berg. I believe ChatGPT can become a useful learning tool if students use it honestly and responsibly. It can help students understand a difficult topic, generate ideas, and improve their writing. I also believe students should not depend on AI for every assignment. They still need to think critically and develop their own skills. According to recent educational research, AI is most effective when it supports learning instead of replacing students' own thinking. Therefore, I believe schools should allow the use of AI, but they should also provide clear rules and teach students how to use it wisely. And to conclude, this project helped me understand that listening is not only about understanding the speaker's words, but also about analyzing argument critically. Overall, I think Natasha Berg presents a convincing argument that schools should prepare students for the future by teaching them how to use AI safely and responsibly instead of simply banning it. Thank you for watching. Bye!